Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos on junk journaling, currently in vintagey styles, but my style does evolve as time goes on. If this is something that you're interested in tutorials and flip through videos, check out my previous videos and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future uploads. Now, what I'm going to be showing you today is how to make an embellishment like this. So it's just going to be a sort of craft along with me video. Now this is a tuck spot, so you can tuck something in there. You could also put it down in a corner, so you could use it as a corner tuck spot, or you can just leave it freestanding in your journal as maybe a journaling page. So there's lots of different uses for this, but I've chose to use it as like a side tuck. So I'm going to show you how I made it. So I'll just leave it on the side there so you can see that. And we'll just go through it. I will probably speed up parts, and there's lots of different places that you can customise your version of this. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I've used a scrap of paper, and this just happens to have like a woody design on it. I just wanted a dark grungy paper really. That was my only criteria of what I wanted, so use whatever you've got available. And then if you've been watching me for some time, you'll know I have this scrap bucket. So all I'm going to do is look through the scrap bucket for maybe some book pages or something that I can back the whole thing onto. I do like the look that the book page gives, so I might get another book page out. Yeah, I don't think I've got any book pages left in my scraps. The only one that I've got is this one. No, I'll leave that one for something else. So mainly what I use is old dictionaries. So I just pull it and I just tear out the page. So I just use my metal ruler and I'm just going to tear the seams around it, just because that gives it a little bit more of like a rough look. And that piece just goes into my scraps. Okay, so that's going to fit nicely on there, but I want the border to look a little bit more interesting. So what I'm going to do is, again, I've got another little bucket of scraps here, and I've got this scrap little bit of washi tape that I've been using. So I'm just going to tear some pieces off this and just stick it underneath. This does have a backing on it though, so it is a bit tricky to get away from the backing. Okay, so usually I just go ahead and use something that I can poke in. I can't quite manage this one. There we go. And I'm just going to stick it randomly underneath. And then I'll use another piece and I'll do the same somewhere else across the back. Okay, so that just sort of breaks it all up a little bit. I might add a little bit more just in the corner. This is why it's always worthwhile just saving any scraps of anything, because they always come in useful, especially for this type of thing. So there we go. So I think we can go ahead now and glue this down. So glue the two together. You can use any type of glue that you have. I just prefer to use the type that's running out all the time. Okay, so that's your main bit of the journaling card. You could maybe put some plain paper on the back so that it could be used as a journaling card for writing on, but that's totally up to you. Now what I like to do is, before collaging, I like to add a little bit of texture to the background. So I've got this roll of like gauze type stuff. I'm just going to cut a length off. So that can go sort of there. I might trim it a little bit. And it doesn't mess up very well, to be honest. I usually like to rough it up and make it a little bit more textured, but it doesn't do that very well. Now what I also used on the last one was just an embellishment that I got. I think it was a journaling card from the Graphics Fairy. So instead of just using it as a journaling card, I'm going to use it as just a little bit of interest over the back of the image. So I'm just going to trim it down a little bit, and I'm going to turn it into a tag. So just trim the edges off, and I'm just going to distress it to give it a nice feel. And then what I'm going to do is just punch a hole in it and put a hole reinforcement there. Now what I do, I buy my hole reinforcements from the shop, and then I just use Distress ink to colour them. So in this case I've already stained them with my Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. So that's going to go there like that. And I'm going to put also some string onto that tag. So I'm going to use this like jute style string that I've got. So I'm just going to feed it through and just tie it in a normal knot. Feed it through like that. Okay, so trim that off and put that there, and then I'm just going to do like a little collage over the top, as you can see that I've done on this one. So again, I'll just reach for my scrap papers and have a look to see if there's anything that I think might match. So I've got a very little scrap here, which is quite cool. Yeah, I think that one would go. So that's just a piece of ripped tea stain paper that I've had. So let me just... Okay, so I'll put a little bit of glue on the back. I am going to sew around all of this, so I don't need to worry about gluing too exactly. And then I've got just a piece of foliage that's die cut, and I've just been snipping it apart and using it. So I'm thinking I don't want that big piece, I don't think, so I might use this medium one. And then I'm just going to add a Tim Holtz word to it. Now the ones that I'm really getting into at the moment is these paler coloured ones. So let's have a look. Maybe I'll use the, Simplified, quite like that one. Usually like to just add a little bit of Distress ink around the edge. And then just stick that directly down. There we we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and sew down this side here just to join it all together, and then I might go around the edge a couple of times as well. So I'm going to pause the video whilst I do that, and then I'll come back to you afterwards. Okay, so that's the final thing. I'm just going to add a little dot of glue on the back just to try and hold that down. There we go. And there you've got your completed journaling card. So I'm going to have a look where I might stick this in my journal just to give you a little bit of inspiration. So like I said, that one's a side loading pocket. So when I do multiples of things, so I like to put one at the front of the journal and one at the back. So let's have a flip over and have a look. Yeah, maybe it might be quite good there on the opening page. And I could do it as a corner pocket and then, you know, load something in there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So all I'll do to glue it in, quite a bit of glue on the sides. And then just hold that down whilst it glues. Just to make sure it adheres properly, especially with it being the first page, because it's got quite a big curve to it, this journal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that very quick video on how to make this embellishment. Like I say, if this subject is something you're interested in, don't forget to check out my other videos and do subscribe. Bye!